Your life is about to change in ways you've never imagined. Not next year, not next month, but in the next 30 days. What you decide and the habits you build in the coming days will determine the course of your future. Imagine waking up every morning with clarity, energy, and purpose. Imagine moving through your day with confidence, making choices that actually bring results, and feeling a quiet strength in every action. That's not a dream. That's a life anyone can create when they take control, commit to consistent action, and follow a clear vision. This isn't about luck or waiting for the perfect opportunity. This is about what you can do today, right now, to start transforming your life. The next 30 days will test you, challenge you, and push you to grow. But if you commit, if you follow through, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. Every day counts. Every choice matters. The life you've been wishing for is within reach. And it starts with the steps you take in this very moment. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to take total responsibility, build habits that stick, create a vision that pulls you forward, and transform your life in 30 days. This is your chance to step into a version of yourself that you've only imagined and make it real. Part 1, the power of taking total responsibility. There comes a moment when a person finally realizes that real change begins the day they stop pointing in every direction except inward. That moment feels sharp, almost like a quiet jolt, because it exposes how much of life so far has been shaped by excuses, delays, and stories that never truly served any purpose. When someone reaches that point, the air feels different, thoughts slow down. The world looks the same, but the understanding of it has shifted. Taking total responsibility is not about blame or guilt. It is about choosing to reclaim every ounce of power that was given away to circumstances, people, or memories that no longer deserve to run the show. In the next 30 days, that shift can change everything if a person decides to act with full ownership instead of waiting for life to rearrange itself. Most people grow up believing that life is something happening around them and that they are simply responding to whatever comes rolling their way. That idea keeps a person small, tired, and discouraged because it makes every setback feel like a wall that can't be pushed through. But the truth is much simpler and far more empowering. Life responds to the kind of person one becomes. When someone takes responsibility, their energy becomes steady, their mind becomes clearer, and their decisions grow stronger. The world stops feeling like a storm and starts behaving more like a mirror, reflecting the level of discipline, courage, and intention that a person brings to each new day. This is why taking total responsibility is the first step in transforming 30 days into a turning point instead of another stretch of time wasted on wishing and worrying. There is something powerful that happens when a person stops explaining their situation and starts directing it. The moment someone stops saying they are tired because of this person, or stuck because of that situation, or discouraged because of something that they went through years ago, the weight they've been dragging finally shifts off their shoulders. It is a feeling similar to clearing a room that has been cluttered for too long. Fresh space opens, air moves more freely, and the mind begins to see possibilities again. Responsibility is not a burden. It is the feeling of finally holding the steering wheel after too many years riding in the back seat of a life that didn't feel like their own. Some people fear responsibility because they think it means facing everything all at once. But the truth is much more manageable. Responsibility is daily. It is built in the small decisions that shape the bigger ones. When a person wakes up in the morning and chooses to start the day with purpose instead of drifting, that is responsibility. When someone decides to speak with honesty instead of hiding behind excuses, that is responsibility. When a person admits their habits are shaping their life and commits to improving them, that is responsibility. None of these choices require perfection. They only require honesty and willingness, and those two qualities alone can reshape a future faster than any outside force. During the first few days of real responsibility, the mind may push back. Old patterns try to convince a person that nothing can change, that there's no point starting now, or that they don't have what it takes. But this resistance is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of movement. It shows that someone is stepping out of their usual patterns into something stronger. If a person stays committed through those early days, the discomfort fades and is replaced by a feeling of control that is impossible to experience when living at the mercy of excuses. This sense of control feels warm, like the first rays of sunlight after standing in the shade for too long. It feels grounding and calming, because deep down every person wants to know that they steer their own ship. Taking total responsibility also changes the way a person looks at time. Instead of letting hours slip through their fingers, they begin to handle each moment with more intention. They choose how they use their energy instead of letting random distractions steal it. With responsibility, time no longer feels like something that disappears on its own. It becomes a tool. Each minute becomes an opportunity to build something better instead of drifting into the same old routines that never lead anywhere worthwhile. This shift alone can make a single week feel more productive than entire months of living without direction. In relationships, responsibility, a person stops judging others for what they cannot control and starts focusing on what they can improve within themselves. Conversations become clearer, conflicts shrink because they are not fed by ego or defensiveness. A person who takes responsibility doesn't need to win arguments because they understand that their growth matters more than being right. They listen more closely, speak more sincerely, and value peace over pride. These changes quietly inspire others, even if no one mentions it out loud. It is impossible not to respect someone who holds themselves to a higher standard without demanding the same from everyone around them. There is also an emotional strength that grows from responsibility. Before taking control of life, many emotions feel unpredictable. Anger rising too quickly, sadness lingering too long, frustration turning small problems into heavy burdens. But when someone chooses responsibility, they become more aware of their reactions. They start understanding what triggers them and why. Instead of being pulled around by emotions, they begin managing them. It doesn't mean emotions disappear. It means they no longer control the direction of someone's life. Emotional strength feels steady, like standing on solid ground after years of trying to balance on shaky footing. The next 30 days can become a completely new chapter when someone chooses to live with full ownership. Every step forward, no matter how small, carries more weight. When a person stops blaming the world and starts shaping their world, the progress they make becomes clearer, the results they achieve become stronger, and the confidence they build grows deeper. Responsibility brings a kind of pride that comes from knowing the effort is real, the discipline is growing, and the future is no longer something to fear or avoid. It becomes something to build, shape, and look forward to. A person who takes responsibility becomes someone others look to for strength, not because they are louder or tougher, but because their life carries a quiet truth. They prove through their actions that anyone can rise, anyone can grow, and anyone can transform when they decide to stop waiting and start owning their story. So, responsibility is the foundation for every breakthrough, every achievement, and every life-changing decision. In these next 30 days, everything can shift. With responsibility, each sunrise becomes an invitation. Each challenge becomes a chance to grow. Each moment becomes a doorway to a better version of oneself. And as the days pass, the transformation becomes visible First on the inside, then in every area of life that begins to reflect the new strength, clarity, and purpose living within. Responsibility is the beginning of a new life, and the next 30 days can be the proof of what happens when a person finally claims the power that was always theirs. Part 2, prepare and plan every day. Every day holds a chance to start shaping a new direction, and preparation is what gives that chance real weight. A person who wakes up without a plan moves through the hours in a fog, drifting from one distraction to the next, hoping that something meaningful will appear on its own. Nothing meaningful comes from drifting. A day without preparation feels scattered, rushed, and empty. But a day prepared with intention feels steady, focused, and alive. There is a calm strength that grows inside someone who takes a few quiet minutes, to decide what truly matters before the world pulls them in a dozen directions. That feeling alone can shift the entire course of a month, because preparation turns each day into a building block instead of a lost opportunity. Preparation is not complicated. It begins with a simple pause before the day begins. During that pause, a person becomes aware of what they want, what needs to be done, and what small steps will bring them closer to the life they imagine. This kind of planning doesn't come from pressure or fear. It comes from a desire to stop repeating old patterns and start moving in a direction that feels meaningful. The moment someone takes time to outline their day, even in the simplest way, they start to feel more grounded. Their chest feels lighter, their thoughts become clearer, and their confidence rises because they know the day is not happening to them, they are shaping it. There is a certain honesty required for real preparation. It means looking at the day ahead and admitting what has been avoided for too long. It means prioritizing tasks that bring growth instead of hiding behind easy distractions. Preparation brings this honesty to the surface, and although it might feel uncomfortable at first, it brings a sense of relief. Deep down, every person wants to feel proud of how they spend their time. The mind becomes more peaceful when actions match desires, and the way to create that match is through simple daily planning. Most people underestimate the power of preparing the night before. There is something calming about closing the day with clarity instead of carrying loose thoughts into sleep. When someone reviews the day, acknowledges what went well, admits what needs improvement, and sets a small plan for tomorrow, they wake with less stress. Their morning feels smoother, their decisions come easier, and their motivation feels stronger. This small nightly ritual can shift a person's energy more than they realize. It prepares the mind to focus, and when the mind is focused, the entire day moves with more purpose. People often say they don't have time to prepare, but preparation creates time. It removes the minutes wasted deciding what to do next. It cuts out the hours lost to procrastination. It protects a person from being pulled into things that don't matter. A few intentional moments can free a person from the mental clutter that slows them down. By preparing each day, the chaos that usually follows them begins to fade. They become more productive without feeling overwhelmed. They get more done without feeling rushed. Their day begins to feel like something they can control instead of something that controls them. Daily preparation also helps a person understand the difference between urgent noise and real priorities. Many people spend their entire lives reacting to things that feel urgent but mean nothing in the long run. When someone prepares their day in advance, they begin separating what deserves their energy from what only drains it. The feeling of checking off meaningful tasks is far more satisfying than spending hours on things that create no progress. With preparation, a person starts choosing tasks that bring results, lift their confidence, and push them toward the life they want. They build momentum, and momentum is what makes 30 days feel like a turning point. instead of just another cycle. Preparation also protects a person emotionally. When someone plans their day, they reduce the surprises that used to throw them off balance. Their emotions become steadier because they know what to expect. They feel more prepared to handle challenges because they entered the day with intention instead of confusion. This emotional stability shows up in the way they speak, the way they respond to frustration, and the way they carry themselves. Preparation brings a sense of control that softens stress and builds inner strength. There is also something powerful that happens when a person prepares for small wins. Most people chase big outcomes and ignore the value of small progress. But preparation helps a person notice the small steps that matter. When small wins are planned, they happen more often. And when they happen more often, confidence rises naturally. Each small step turns into a reason to stay consistent. Each piece of progress becomes proof that change is possible. Over 30 days, these small wins stack up in ways that feel almost unbelievable to the person who finally committed to preparing their day. When someone prepares daily, their habits begin to shift. They start choosing healthier actions, clearer routines, and better environments. They stop rushing, they stop guessing, they start acting with purpose. This change shows up physically as well: more energy, better focus, more restful sleep, and a sense of calm that settles in the body. Preparation affects the mind, the emotions, and even the way a person carries themselves. Others can sense the difference, even if nothing is said out loud. A prepared day also strengthens discipline. When someone decides in advance what must be done, they reduce the influence of mood or temptation. They don't wait to feel ready. They already know what the day requires, and that knowledge alone strengthens their will. Discipline becomes less of a struggle and more of a natural rhythm. The more someone prepares, the easier discipline becomes. The easier discipline becomes, the faster transformation grows. Preparation is the doorway to a new life. Without it, the days blend together and dreams remain distant. With it, each day becomes a chance to build, shape, and refine. In 30 days, preparation can turn someone into a more confident thinker, a more consistent doer, and a more focused creator of their own future. It removes the fog, sharpens the mind, and opens a path that once felt out of reach. Through preparation, a person discovers that change isn't about force or pressure. It's about direction. And direction comes from deciding each day to prepare for a life that finally feels aligned with who they want to become. Part 3, upgrade your daily habits. A life begins to shift the moment a person understands that their habits quietly shape their future long before their intentions do. Intentions feel exciting, but habits carry the real weight because they show up every single day, whether a person is feeling strong or tired, hopeful or discouraged. When someone decides to upgrade their daily habits, they are choosing to rebuild the rhythm of their life from the inside out. This shift doesn't come from pressure or dramatic change. It comes from small actions practiced with steady commitment, actions that gradually lift a person into a better version of themselves without them even noticing at first. And over the next 30 days, these upgraded habits can create changes so noticeable that the person looking back will wonder why they ever accepted less from themselves. A habit is powerful because it grows roots. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for motivation. It sets itself into a person's life and begins shaping outcomes quietly. That is why old habits hold people in patterns they don't enjoy, even when they want something better. But the moment someone begins introducing new habits, the mind starts rewriting those patterns. At first, the shift feels small, almost invisible, but over time, these small actions begin building confidence, energy, and clarity. It's similar to how a room feels different after being cleaned out. Nothing dramatic has happened, yet everything feels lighter. Upgraded habits bring that same freshness into a person's life. The simplest way to begin upgrading habits is to remove the ones that drain energy without offering anything valuable in return. Many people go through their days without noticing how much time slips through tiny cracks, scrolling endlessly, overthinking, delaying tasks that could be finished quickly, repeating conversations that go nowhere, carrying a worry that solves nothing. These habits feel harmless in the moment, but over weeks and months, they steal energy that could have been used to build something meaningful. Upgrading habits means becoming aware of these tiny leaks and slowly closing them. Each leak removed returns strength back to the person, and with that strength, new habits become easier to build. New habits need to be practical. They need to fit into real life. They need to feel possible even on days when energy is low. A habit that requires enormous effort will collapse the moment stress rises. But a habit that requires only a few small actions can survive any mood. A short morning routine that grounds the mind, a few minutes devoted to learning something useful, a simple action that brings progress toward a personal goal. These habits build consistency. They anchor a person in a way that feels steady and reassuring. Over time, they become almost comforting because they give structure to mornings, stability to afternoons, and peace to evenings. Upgrading habits also involves building habits that strengthen the body. When someone moves their body daily, even lightly, their mind becomes sharper and their emotions calmer. Physical movement doesn't need to be intense, it only needs to be consistent. A short walk, some stretching, or a few minutes of simple exercise can lift a person's energy in a way that caffeine and motivation never could. When the body feels alive, the mind follows, and transformed energy becomes transformed action. Over the next 30 days, this single habit alone can shift someone's entire outlook. Another powerful upgraded habit is learning something small every day. Knowledge grows quietly, but its influence becomes clear in the way a person speaks, thinks, and solves problems. It doesn't require hours. It only requires curiosity. A few pages of reading, a few notes from a useful lesson, a short moment spent understanding something new. These small pieces of growth accumulate faster than most people realize. In 30 days, they create a noticeable difference in a person's mindset. Confidence increases. Ideas become clearer. The world feels bigger, not in an overwhelming way, but in a way that gives a sense of possibility. A strong habit that transforms a person's inner world is the habit of reflection. Taking time in the evening to understand the day gives clarity that most people never experience. Reflection shows what worked, what didn't, and where improvement is possible. It prevents a person from repeating the same mistakes without realizing it. It creates space to notice progress that might otherwise go unseen. Reflection also calms the mind, allowing the day to close with peace instead of scattered thoughts. This calmness carries into the next morning, creating a smoother start and a stronger sense of direction. Habits also shape a person's emotional life. Many people react without thinking because they've never trained themselves to pause before responding. Upgrading emotional habits means choosing patience, choosing calm, choosing to breathe before reacting. It means recognizing that frustration does not need to shape outcomes. When a person builds the habit of pausing before reacting, their relationships improve, their stress drops, and their decisions become wiser. This habit brings emotional strength that influences every part of life, work, family, personal goals, and becomes one of the most valuable upgrades a person could ever make. Another upgraded habit is focus is one of the most valuable assets a person has, yet it gets scattered easily. When someone builds the habit of focusing on one task at a time, instead of jumping between 5, their productivity they finish what they start. They feel more satisfied. Their mind becomes clearer because it is no longer pulled in multiple directions. This habit, once built, makes every goal feel more achievable because progress happens faster and with far less stress. As the days pass, upgraded habits begin shaping a new identity. A person starts seeing themselves differently. They begin feeling capable. They begin trusting their own consistency. They start living with more pride in their actions. This identity shift is powerful because once a person sees themselves as someone who grows daily, they don't want to go back to old patterns. They begin protecting their progress. They begin valuing their time more. They start saying no to things that don't align with their future. Upgraded habits don't just change actions, they change beliefs, and beliefs are what shape destinies. The beauty of upgrading habits is that no one needs to do everything at once. A person only needs to start with one meaningful habit and practice it until it feels natural. Once it becomes part of their life, they layer another habit on top. Over 30 days, these layers build a foundation strong enough to support real transformation. This steady growth becomes something they can feel in their energy, see in their results, and recognize in their confidence. These upgraded habits become the quiet force behind a stronger future. They turn ordinary days into productive ones, scattered thoughts into focused plans, and self-doubt into steady confidence. When someone commits to upgrading their habits for the next 30 days, they create a life that feels lighter, clearer, and far more aligned with who they want to become. Part 4, define a vision that pulls you. There is a turning point in a person's life when they finally realize they can no longer live by accident. Something inside begins to pull them forward, almost like an inner voice saying there is more to experience, more to create, more to become. A real vision doesn't appear through luck or chance. It forms when someone grows tired of drifting and starts paying attention to what their heart has been whispering for years. A vision that pulls you is not just an idea. It is a direction. It is a deep, steady feeling that rises in the chest, reminding you that your life can stretch far beyond your current surroundings. Once that feeling becomes clear, every day starts to carry a new sense of purpose. Vision doesn't come fully developed. It often begins as a quiet spark, something a person feels when they think about the life they want but have not yet lived. That spark might appear during moments of silence, during times of frustration, or during experiences that make someone realize they want something different. What matters most is recognizing that spark instead of ignoring it. Too many people bury it under fear or doubt, convincing themselves they should aim lower because aiming higher feels risky. But when someone finally allows that spark to take shape, their life begins to shift in powerful ways. A vision that pulls you removes the need for force. Most people push themselves through life using pressure and stress as fuel. That approach never lasts. Pushing drains energy. Pulling creates energy. When a person is pulled by a vision, their actions don't feel forced. They wake up with a sense of direction. Their decisions become clearer. Their motivation feels more natural. Even on difficult days, the vision keeps them steady because it gives a reason to move forward that is stronger than temporary emotions. A real vision must feel personal. It should come from inside, not from what others expect. Many people chase dreams that don't belong to them, goals shaped by family pressure, social comparisons, or outdated beliefs. These goals never create fulfillment because they lack emotional meaning. A vision that pulls you is born from your own experiences, your own values, your own desires. It feels honest. It feels authentic. You don't need to pretend to want it. Your entire body responds to it with a mix of excitement and calm determination. When a person finally discovers this kind of vision, clarity begins to spread into areas of life that once felt confusing. Choices that used to feel overwhelming become easier because they now serve a purpose. The mind stops bouncing between too many options. There is a sense of direction that brings relief. You know where you're heading, and that knowing reduces stress. People often think clarity comes from having everything figured out, but true clarity comes from having a strong enough vision that even uncertainty cannot shake it. A vision also brings structure. It shapes how someone uses their time and energy. Before a clear vision, days scatter easily. Hours disappear, effort gets wasted. But with a strong vision, priorities naturally rise to the surface. A person starts choosing what supports growth and letting go of what holds them back. This doesn't require dramatic decisions. It happens through small adjustments, spending more time learning, reducing distractions, surrounding oneself with people who encourage progress, and gently stepping away from environments that drain enthusiasm. These changes gradually reshape daily life until eventually the entire lifestyle begins to reflect the vision. There is a unique emotional strength that comes from holding a meaningful vision. It helps a person handle setbacks with more patience. Without a vision, challenges feel heavy because there is no deeper purpose to carry them through. But when someone is pulled by something greater, challenges feel temporary. Instead of breaking down, the person grows stronger. They become more grounded, more focused, and more resilient. A clear vision doesn't remove difficulty, but it gives a person the strength to push through it with confidence instead of fear. A vision that pulls you also influences how you see yourself. Over time, self-doubt weakens because your actions begin aligning with who you want to become. Every step forward reinforces a new identity. You begin seeing yourself not as someone hoping to grow, but as someone actively shaping their future. This identity shift is powerful. When you begin believing you are capable of reaching your vision, you start taking actions you once avoided. You speak differently. You walk with more confidence. You stop shrinking into old versions of yourself. You start living in a way that shows the world and yourself that you are ready for more. The next 30 days can become a powerful doorway if someone chooses to build their life around a vision that pulls them forward. Each day becomes more meaningful because every action contributes to something bigger. Even small steps feel valuable. There is a growing sense of pride because the person knows they are finally honoring the life they want, not the one they settled for. This brings a deep emotional satisfaction, a quiet confidence that fills the body with warmth and steadiness. A vision that pulls you does not require perfection. It only requires willingness. It requires honesty about what you truly want. It requires patience. It requires consistency. With these pieces in place, a person can transform their life far faster than they once believed. The spark becomes a flame. The direction becomes clearer. The future becomes brighter. And the person becomes stronger, not by chance, but by stepping into the life they were always meant to live. Part 5. The vision that rewrites your destiny. There comes a period in life when a person recognizes that their future is not shaped by luck, background, or wishes. It is shaped by the direction they choose to follow with full intention. A vision becomes something far more serious than a daydream. It becomes the turning point that rewrites everything. The moment a person understands this, a quiet strength rises inside them because they finally see that their life is not fixed. It is flexible, it can shift, it can expand, it can open new paths that once felt out of reach. A new destiny begins when a person decides to build a vision strong enough to guide every choice they make. A destiny does not change through sudden miracles. It changes through clarity. When someone decides what they want their life to look like, they begin shaping their days with that picture in mind. This picture becomes a guide, a steady direction, something that keeps them from drifting back into familiar patterns. Many people think destiny is something predetermined. It is not. It is shaped by the decisions repeated over months and years. When a person chooses a clear and honest vision, they begin rewriting their future because every action becomes intentional rather than automatic. This kind of vision must be rooted in truth, not fantasy. A person should be able to close their eyes and clearly see the life they want without pretending or exaggerating. They should feel it in a grounded way, not a rush of excitement that fades quickly, but a calm certainty that this is the direction they want to grow toward. This clarity brings a level of emotional stability that many people have never experienced. Instead of guessing, the person begins knowing. Instead of doubting, they begin trusting their choices. This creates a sense of control that makes the future feel less intimidating. When a person builds a vision strong enough to shape their destiny, they start becoming more selective with how they use their time. They stop agreeing to things that drain their energy. They stop spending hours on activities that bring no progress. They reduce the noise and start focusing on what contributes to the life they want. This shift can feel uncomfortable at first, especially when old habits are still calling for attention, but soon the new focus begins to feel natural. It becomes easier to say yes to growth and no to distractions because the direction is no longer blurry. This clear vision also influences the people someone chooses to keep close. When a person lacks direction, they often surround themselves with anyone who happens to be available. But when a clear vision takes shape, they begin seeking company that encourages growth, supports progress, and values improvement. They no longer tolerate conversations that revolve around complaining, gossiping, or doubting. They begin appreciating people who are honest, hardworking, hopeful, and forward-thinking. These relationships strengthen the vision, and the vision strengthens the relationships. This creates a support system that stabilizes the journey. A destiny begins to rewrite itself when a person develops new standards. They start demanding more from themselves, not from a place of pressure, but from a place of self-respect. The old version of themselves accepted inconsistency, procrastination, and distraction because nothing pushed them forward. Now, the vision holds them to a higher level. They wake with purpose. They evaluate their actions. They correct their mistakes without shame. They make clearer decisions. These new standards slowly build a new identity, and identity is one of the greatest forces shaping a person's future. This identity shift is not dramatic. It develops quietly as the person begins noticing improvements in how they think, act, and handle challenges. They start seeing themselves as someone capable of creating meaningful change. Their self-respect grows. Their confidence rises naturally, not from external praise, but from knowing they are showing up for themselves each day. This inner shift creates a powerful ripple effect. Opportunities begin appearing because the person is now prepared to recognize and act on them. They speak with more clarity. They move with more direction. They carry themselves with more assurance. A vision that rewrites destiny also changes how a person handles obstacles. Before the vision, obstacles felt heavy and discouraging. With a clear direction, obstacles become manageable tasks that simply need solutions. The person no longer breaks down because they now understand the challenge is temporary. They don't panic when something goes wrong because they know the setback is only one moment in a much larger journey. This steady mindset brings emotional strength that supports long-term progress. Over the next 30 days, a person can experience a level of transformation they never expected if they commit to living with a clear vision. They will begin noticing shifts in how they think and behave. They will begin feeling more in control of their day. They will start taking actions that once felt overwhelming. This growth will not be loud or dramatic. It will be steady. It will feel stable. It will show up through consistent improvements in behavior, mindset, choices, and focus. A vision strong enough to rewrite destiny also gives a person a deeper sense of meaning. Their days stop feeling repetitive because every action now contributes to something larger. Their mornings carry direction. Their evenings carry reflection. Their conversations carry more depth. Life begins feeling fuller because it is no longer lived on autopilot. It becomes something they are actively shaping with purpose. One of the most powerful parts of this vision is the emotional fulfillment it brings. A person no longer feels lost or restless because they have something to build toward. They experience a grounded sense of peace, not because life becomes perfect, but because life becomes intentional. They know where they're going. They know why they're working. They know their efforts matter. This creates a deep inner motivation that no outside source can replace. As the days pass, this vision becomes more than just a direction. It becomes part of who the person is. It influences their thoughts, actions, decisions, and standards. It acts as a constant reminder of the life they are creating. And with each day of consistency, the destiny they once thought was distant becomes something they can feel forming right in front of them. In these 30 days, a person can move from confusion to clarity, from hesitation to action, from drifting to building. A rewritten destiny does not require extraordinary talent or dramatic opportunity. It requires a vision clear enough to guide the person forward one step at a time. Once that vision is held tightly, the future shifts, the person shifts, the story shifts, and a life that once felt ordinary becomes something deeply meaningful, purpose-driven, and strong from the inside out. Part 6, the discipline that builds unstoppable success. There is a moment when a person finally understands that success is not built in sudden bursts of effort. It grows through steady, deliberate discipline practiced day after day. Discipline becomes the quiet force that shapes character, sharpens focus, and strengthens the ability to follow through. It carries a kind of seriousness that takes a person from wishing to achieving. When someone commits to discipline, they begin rising above their excuses and stepping into a version of themselves they once believed was out of reach. This is where unstoppable success begins, through simple actions repeated with consistency, even when comfort tries to pull them the other way. Discipline is not about living a harsh or rigid life. It is about choosing actions that support growth instead of actions that weaken it. Many people avoid discipline because they associate it with restriction, when in truth, discipline creates freedom. It frees a person from the stress of unfinished tasks, the anxiety of regret, and the confusion of drifting. It frees them from cycles they have been repeating for years. The moment discipline becomes a daily practice, life begins to feel lighter, not heavier. There is a sense of relief because decisions are no longer driven by moods. They are driven by purpose. The first sign that discipline is taking root is the shift in how someone handles their mornings. Instead of starting the day in a rush, they begin with intention. They get out of bed when they said they would. They follow through on the small habits they committed to. They take control of the first hour, and in doing so, they take control of the entire day. This single improvement builds a kind of pride that stays with them for hours. The person starts to feel like they can rely on themselves, and that feeling opens doors to larger achievements. Discipline also appears in the way someone handles distractions. Most people allow temptations to interrupt their focus repeatedly, draining their time and scattering their energy. But when a person strengthens their discipline, they begin protecting their attention. They stay with one task instead of jumping to another. They finish what they start. They honor their commitments even when no one is watching. This steady behavior builds momentum. It brings a sense of order to the day, and order always strengthens confidence. The power of discipline is seen most clearly in difficult moments. When fatigue sets in, when doubt surfaces, when discomfort tries to push a person back into old patterns, discipline becomes the voice that says, keep going. This voice is firm but supportive. It doesn't shout, it guides. It reminds the person that short-term discomfort cannot compare to long-term pride. Every time a person chooses discipline in these moments, they build emotional strength that makes future challenges easier to handle. Before long, they are no longer controlled by impulse or weakness. They become steady, focused, and committed. There is a unique warmth in the chest that comes from keeping promises to oneself. Every disciplined action, it feels like proof that growth is happening, even if results are not visible yet. This is why disciplined people rise faster. They do not wait for motivation to return. They rely on consistency. They act with purpose even when nothing dramatic is happening. Their progress accumulates quietly, and then one day it becomes impossible to ignore. Discipline also improves the way a person communicates. Someone who practices discipline respects their own time and naturally begins respecting the time of others. They show up prepared. They follow through on what they say. They speak clearly because their thoughts are more organized. They listen more carefully because their mind is not cluttered by chaos. These qualities make them more trustworthy, and trust is one of the most valuable assets a person can build. In personal goals, discipline transforms dreams into plans and plans into achievements. A person with discipline does not fear the size of a dream, because they understand it is reached through consistent small steps. They break their goals into daily actions and follow through with patience. Over time, this approach produces surprising growth. People around them begin noticing changes, greater confidence, stronger focus, more balanced emotions, and clearer direction. These changes inspire others without the disciplined person ever needing to say anything. A disciplined person takes better care of their body because they understand that energy fuels achievement. They get enough rest because they know how it affects their performance. They eat with more awareness because they feel the difference it makes. They move their body regularly because they recognize that physical strength supports mental strength. These actions add up, creating a healthier, sharper, more alert version of themselves. One of the most important roles of discipline is protecting a person from giving up too soon. Many people quit right before they experience real progress because they lack the structure needed to stay consistent. When discipline becomes part of someone's lifestyle, they don't quit easily. They stay with the process long enough to see results. They understand that progress may feel slow, but that growth is happening beneath the surface. This patience is rare, and it is the reason disciplined people reach levels of success that others never do. Over the next 30 days, discipline can create a transformation that feels almost unbelievable. A person may begin the month feeling uncertain, scattered, or unmotivated. But with consistent discipline, they end the month feeling stronger, clearer, and more capable. They develop a sense of confidence that comes from action, not words. They feel more in control of their life because they are no longer following their mood. They are following their purpose. Discipline also creates a powerful ripple effect. When a person becomes consistent in one area of life, they naturally become consistent in others. Improvement spreads. Self-respect deepens. Old habits lose their hold. New habits take root. The person begins to see themselves differently, and that new identity becomes the driving force for future success. They no longer see success as something for other people. They see it as something they can build every day through simple, steady actions. There is something deeply fulfilling about living with discipline. It brings a sense of pride that cannot be taken away. It creates a stability that carries a person through uncertainty. It strengthens the mind and sharpens the spirit. Most important, it proves to the person that they are capable of building a life they can be proud of, not through shortcuts or luck, but through consistent effort that reflects who they are becoming. In these 30 days, discipline becomes the bridge between who someone is today and who they can become tomorrow. It becomes the force that anchors their goals, shapes their decisions, and directs their daily actions. With discipline, a person builds a future they can stand behind with pride, knowing they earned every step of it through commitment, consistency, and a refusal to give up. Part 7, the habit shift that changes everything. There is a quiet power that comes when someone decides to change the small routines that shape their life. The simplest habits often carry the biggest results because they are repeated day after day. A small shift in daily behavior can grow into a transformation that feels almost magical, not because it happens instantly, but because the momentum builds steadily. When someone begins paying attention to the habits that matter most, they start seeing results in ways that are visible, felt in the body, and experienced in emotions. The mind grows clearer, the heart feels lighter, and even the way a person moves through their day begins to feel stronger and more intentional. Habits are the invisible architecture of life. They determine how energy flows, how decisions are made, and how resilience grows. Changing a habit is not about huge dramatic moves. It is about small, consistent adjustments that align actions with the person's goals and values. Each choice, what time to wake, what to eat, how to respond to stress, how to spend spare moments, becomes a building block. Individually, these choices feel ordinary. Over time, they accumulate into extraordinary changes. People often underestimate this because they are looking for fast results, but real transformation comes from the subtle power of daily repetition. The first step in shifting habits is awareness. Many people move through their days automatically, repeating the same patterns they have carried for years without noticing the impact. They wonder why life feels stagnant or why progress seems slow. But the moment someone observes their own routines, they gain control. They notice what energizes them, what drains them, and which behaviors contribute to the life they want. This awareness alone begins creating change because now every choice can be intentional instead of automatic. Next, a person must decide which habits to strengthen and which to replace. This requires honesty. It requires admitting which actions are holding them back. Old habits that provide comfort but no growth, wasting time on distractions, reacting impulsively, avoiding challenges, must be recognized. Once acknowledged, these habits can slowly be replaced with small, positive routines that build energy, focus, and confidence. It is important to start small. Trying to overhaul everything at once leads to frustration. A single habit consistently practiced is far more powerful than 10 attempted and abandoned. A powerful habit shift is tied to consistent daily action. Many people wait for motivation or inspiration, but these are unreliable. Habit relies on doing, not feeling. Every time someone performs a new habit, even when it is uncomfortable, they strengthen the foundation of their future success. Over 30 days, the repetition compounds. The mind begins to accept the new behavior as normal. The body adjusts. The emotions, the action. By the end of the month, the person often finds themselves thinking differently, feeling differently, and acting differently, all because of the small habits they chose to reinforce each day. The habit shift also affects focus and attention. A person who builds habits around clarity, reflection, and meaningful action experiences less mental clutter. Their mind becomes less distracted by unnecessary worry and scattered thoughts. They are able to concentrate on tasks that create results. This focused attention allows them to accomplish more in less time and with less stress. The habit of prioritizing meaningful action becomes automatic, giving them a sense of control over their life that they may never have felt before. Emotional habits are equally important. How a person responds to stress, frustration, or setbacks shapes the way life unfolds. Choosing habits of patience, calm, and thoughtful response strengthens emotional resilience. A person begins noticing that challenges no longer feel overwhelming. Setbacks no longer trigger panic or despair. They maintain perspective and over 30 days, these emotional habits transform not just outcomes, but the experience of living itself. Life becomes less about surviving and more about navigating with steady purpose. A habit shift also strengthens When someone practices a positive habit daily, they are sending a message to themselves that they can rely on their own consistency. This reliability builds trust in themselves, and trust in themselves fuels courage. They start taking actions that once felt intimidating. They follow through on commitments. They keep promises to themselves, and this creates a sense of pride that is hard to replicate from external sources. Over time, confidence grows naturally as a result of consistent action. Physical habits reinforce mental. Regular movement, better nutrition, and adequate rest create energy and clarity that support every other aspect of life. The body and mind work together. Small improvements in physical routine compound, giving a person stamina, focus, and a sense of well-being. This feedback loop strengthens their ability to maintain other habits. Healthy habits support productive habits, and productive habits strengthen emotional habits. Each layer reinforces the next, creating a self-sustaining system of improvement. Consistency in small habits also builds momentum. Every completed habit, no matter how minor, creates a sense of accomplishment. That feeling motivates the next action. It creates a chain reaction that moves the person forward. Momentum grows quietly but powerfully. By the end of 30 days, the person often feels like they have taken a significant step forward, not because of a single large action, but because of the cumulative power of small, meaningful choices repeated daily. Over time, habit shifts redefine identity. A person no longer sees themselves as someone who struggles with inconsistency or procrastination. They begin seeing themselves as someone capable of growth, reliability, and purpose. Their actions align with this new identity. Their decisions reinforce it. Even their emotions and self-talk begin reflecting this stronger self. The transformation feels natural because it is built on repeated action rather than forced change. The final power of the habit shift is in its sustainability. Quick fixes rarely last because they lack a foundation. Habits create that foundation. Once the new habits are integrated, they continue to influence life long after the initial 30 days. The person doesn't need constant motivation or reminders. They act because the behavior has become part of who they are. Their life starts reflecting this new identity automatically. Progress continues beyond the initial month, creating a long-term transformation that feels both achievable and real. The 30-day habit shift is not about perfection. It is about commitment, consistency, and intention. It is about choosing small, positive actions and honoring them every day. When someone embraces this approach, they begin to feel more energy, more focus, and more confidence. They notice their mind clearing, their decisions improving, and their sense of purpose growing. By the end of the month, the person often feels a quiet pride, an inner strength, and a momentum that makes the next month easier more productive, and more aligned with the life they truly want. This habit shift becomes the backbone of transformation. It touches every part of life: mental clarity, emotional stability, physical energy, relationships, productivity, and confidence. When all these areas improve together, life starts feeling bigger, fuller, and more meaningful. A person experiences change not because of luck or chance, but because they chose to take control of their daily actions and honor the small routines that shape everything. Hey! Habit is the silent engine behind transformation, and the person who masters it can build a life that feels purposeful, strong, and unstoppable. The next 30 days are yours to shape. Every choice, every action, every habit counts. Take responsibility, stay disciplined, follow your vision, and commit to growth. Transformation doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. Start today and watch your life change in ways you never thought possible.